now at 500 gentlemen here at 600, $1,000 bid. What do you, sir? Did you say 11? 1,200? 13? 14? 13, get a bid, 14, get a bid, 30. Want to do one more time? 13, get a bid, thank you for what you did do. 13, get a bid, 14, get a bid, 13, get a bid, 14, get a bid, 13, get a bid, 14, get a bid, 14, get a bid, 14, get a bid, 13, get a bid, 14. Anybody else? I want to miss anybody? 13, 14, get a bid, 13, get a bid, 14.
Hey. Hello, everybody. This is Mike at Your Car Dealer Bond. Telling you guys thanks again for tuning into the Your Car Dealer podcast and continuing to mention it to your buddies. More and more people. I just got a call into our call center, the 866 number, saying, hey, by all means, I'd love to talk to you more about your podcast and how they can, I don't know if they're trying to advertise to you guys or if they're trying to spit game at you guys or what they're trying to do. But anyway, more and more, we're connecting. It's getting more exciting by the day. We're almost at 8,000 downloads of the podcast. And it's all because of you, because, for all intents and purposes, I'm sitting here talking to my phone. The real magic is on the other side with you guys actually listening to it and taking it into consideration. I'm about to go talk to a bunch of car dealers this coming Monday. There's a big event up north. It's in Sacramento, actually. They do it twice a year. It's an IADAC thing. If you guys are familiar with that, but what I would say is that I'm connecting with a hell of a lot more dealers now in this way than I would in my old traditional ways, which might have been going to the auction and setting up a booth for you guys to come and pick off some of my candy. Or, man, there was some of these rats, they'd go over there and be snacking on all my cookies and leave. Hey, take a cookie, take a couple by all means. And, and we didn't have none of this. Let me get this pack of cookies for $1 and feed them out to a bunch of dealers there just because they're starving. Hell no, man. We were out there paying, top notch, man. We'd spend like $60 just in cookies, then another $40 in really good quality chocolates or like different, off the chain. And then we'd spend another few $100 and just some little things to give, here's an envelope opener that's really slick, or here's a money clip, a flipping money clip, man. This thing was I got it to this day, still soldered properly. It looks like it did the first day I got it. This thing's beautiful, man. One of my favorite money clips. And man, just by all means, here, if you guys need something, here I am. And man, you'd be surprised how inconsiderate some of these people are that you'll meet, man. They'll put crumbs all over your thing. They won't even bother to turn around. They'll get your thing, they'll get your business card to throw right in front of you in the trash can. Like, man, these guys are foul, some of them. You know what I'm talking about, because you guys end up at the auction rubbing shoulders with these guys. But anyway, I don't mean to get off on this tangent that way too much about what it is and my connection with you guys. What I will say is that this episode of the podcast was really geared towards something that I'm personal. All the stuff that I tell you guys about or that I'm talking about here, it's not because I'm just guessing this shit out of the sky or, oh my God, I wonder what happens in the real world with small business owners. I don't have a huge business. I don't have this. I'm basically in the same bucket as you guys are in a small business trying to make it when you have a bunch of competitors that are huge in your space trying to eat your lunch all day long. Now, the only advantage I have is that I started it in 2011. So the guys that are starting today or last week or last year, they're a little behind me. But in terms of what I've had to do in my business and scrap for every bit that I'm able to bring home to the kids, by all means, it's the exact same rigmarole you guys got to go through to feed the kids, right? So, all this stuff, you guys may get it twisted that, that some of this stuff I really either don't understand. I don't know what I really don't get what some of you guys are thinking. There's a lot of you guys that are sitting there saying, man, you know what? Shit, what do you think about this? Because obviously you've got some insight on some of this stuff, and it sounds like you know your head from a hole in the wall. So yeah, let me ask you these other questions. And some were just like, yeah, I don't know that you really know what I'm going through. Some of these guys are like, yeah, you really don't get a real good drop on what I'm having to do as a business to stay alive. And some of the stuff that I'm getting broken down on by my business coach, man, she's ruthless, man, this lady. She reminds me of a real old school, which I love, a real old school, kind of a drill sergeant. She was a college athlete, I think, which really helps. She doesn't take shit from me. I don't think or anybody else in her life, but she's like, I'm sitting here trying to make excuses on why something ain't getting done, and she's like, I don't know, all I'm hearing, Mike, is this, and I think you're getting caught up into doing this other move, and my fear for you is this. And I'm thinking, man, you're nailing all this right between the eyes, and I could feel myself starting to shift. I get uncomfortable. I'm starting to panic. I'm starting to think of good ways to defend myself from my from actually having to reap the benefits of the work I haven't done. And some of it, damn it, I hear some of my own excuses and I'm like, wow, I've been doing all that, huh? She's like, oh, that's wonderful, but we talked about this needed to be done by the next time we talked, and now we're talking and now it ain't done. You're telling me all this other beautiful stuff you're doing, but that ain't got nothing to do with what we talked about last time, you getting it done. And she'll sit there and nail me. I can see you got that entrepreneur thing, Mike. You're sitting there with that entrepreneur spirit. I get it, Mike. You're creative. You got a lot of ideas in your head. I can see it. And every 2 weeks, we got to sit here and talk because I got to keep your ass on track, or else you're going to be over there dunking around trying to open up a circus or do whatever the hell you're doing. Like, man, this is... And she's keeping me in step. Like, man, the foundational stuff that we went over, it really helped kind of set the box, if you will, of what I'm going to put everything into. And now now we got the box. Now we can start figuring out what goes into it, what's in it already that maybe could be replaced with something better. And we're just slowly but surely fixing the model. And and I'm telling you, some of the stuff that either I get my ass kicked in my conversation, my meetings with her about, I'm gonna divulge. I'm gonna hike up my skirt, Mike, just to show it to you guys and let you guys know I'm exposed, just like you guys are. I'm not. No, I might be talking about this fresh off my mind. And it might sound like it's, this is off the chain, and oh my God, this is brilliant shit. Well, this guy's been probably doing this for years. No, man, some of it I just barely got broken down on because she's saying, why do you keep doing this? But pretty soon I'm going to make another one of these. I made one of these on an episode, maybe season 2, about shiny object syndrome, because I always know I'm falling victim to it. It's funny because this is not one of those things that you beat and then you beat it. Right? It's whether your vice is food or whether it's booze. I do in some respects think that there's an ongoing fight within yourself. If it's something that you really have a strong, like a gravity almost pulling you towards naturally. If you naturally have a sweet tooth, I'm not saying that you're not gonna, be able to pull together a whole year or 2 years or 3 years of being super diligent. I'm just saying, even 5 years from now, you may see some beautiful chocolate cake and want to dig in. I'm not, or maybe if you were a binge drinker at some point, you might have a great stretch of sobriety. And then all of a sudden, the cocktails are flowing on Christmas Eve. And you're thinking, man, what's the big deal? I don't necessarily need to get slammed, but if I have a couple of tonics, or if I sip me some Courvoisier or whatever the drink of choice is, mine personally is Bailey's on the rocks. But, hey, what's the big deal? Have a couple of beers, There's no big deal, right? Why not? So but I think that you're, and I say that to say this, that mine is, it's not necessarily a vice, it's more of a defect in my case. I've almost got some kind of a, and you guys might be able to hear it sometimes too, and the stuff that I'm talking, I might be like, you guys might think I'm all over the place and scattered if you listen hard enough or long enough, because I've got all these things that are just popping into my mind at a crazy rate. My mouth can't possibly keep up. And then I got to figure out, where was I in the first place before I went down this one rabbit hole? Because I've got these wild, just thoughts so fast coming in my brain. Before I could speak a sentence, I've got 16 thoughts that just ran through my brain about something. And I've got to be able to keep that focused, because you get too spread out on that shit. I don't know if it's ADD or whatever these rascals think, or if I just got some kind of it's probably some form of ADD. I don't know how deep it is or whatever, but you know, being able to focus for long periods of time on one specific thing, I start getting antsy, man. I want to start, I gotta stand up, I want to sit down, I want to write, I want to read, I don't know, what's going on, I want to talk, what's happening? And sometimes, you know, I gotta sit there and stay focused, and I might be working on one I've been working on one project now for 6 months. She's had me working on this flipping project for 6 months. This one's gonna get a little more explicit, and I'm gonna put it in the thing. I'm sorry. Every once in a while, I might go crazy on you guys, and it might have to happen. So this one might be a little bit raw, but I do say that all this stuff, I'm telling you, that you guys are going through, I'm going through. All this stuff that you guys have thoughts on, or you guys are trying to build your business, and you guys are looking for best practices on how to do it. One of the exercises we're going through right now is actually putting together all the milestones, really talking seriously and identifying on paper some of these serious milestones. And I'm going to put it on a video actually for you guys, and really let you see what we've come up with in terms of what the milestones have been, and even the configuration of the video that we're going to present it in, I think we're starting to kick into the next level a little bit. I'm not saying we're going, we're sick bird or anything, but we're starting to really hit another level. We were kind of, a lot of our image looked the same, a lot of the look was the same, a lot of the Instagram posts were the same, but a lot of the video content was kind of had the same kind of general feel. And on some respects, I was trying to keep it consistent. The other half of it is, it's time to spruce it up and give us a nice, clean feel going into 2020. Kind of update some things, knock the dust off of some other areas, really kick some things up to the next level, make a real commitment to certain things. And one of those things is certainly taking a look back at what have we accomplished, because at the end of the day, as entrepreneurs, there's always something else to get done. There's always something that didn't get done at the office today, right? Maybe there's several things that didn't get done today at the office. Maybe there's several things that won't even be done by tomorrow. Even if I try my hardest and only sleep 4 hours, there's no way I can actually accomplish the amount of stuff I need to accomplish on a daily basis. And I get it. It could be so dragging. Oh my God, it can be so draining on your psyche and so taxing on your soul to sit there and feel like, man, day after day after day. This is if you're setting the bar high. Now, if you're setting the bar low, you're probably every day you're overachieving, right? And you go home feeling good about yourself because you overachieved at a really small goal. That's cool. And you got to be realistic with your goals. But if you're setting stretch goals, that's how big things happen, right? Is you're setting stretch goals. But if you're setting stretch goals, guess what? There's going to be a lot of times you're coming up short. I'm up short, Mike. I don't know why I keep coming up short, Mike. It's because you're setting them stretch goals. If you're diligent, it's because you're setting stretch goals. That's why, it might feel like you're not actually getting wins at the same rate that you actually are, which is why now, of course, here comes my Allison. What's up with the milestones, Mike? You're gonna have to put them on paper. Let me see them. What's this? What did you do here? What do we do here? When did you fix this big problem that you used to have? When did you level up with this piece of software? When did you connect these two pieces of software and streamline the business so that you didn't have to continue to make these extra keystrokes? When did you automate this particular process or streamline this other particular process? Like all these things. Until I sit there and actually focus and take a step back and think hard about those accomplishments, I don't necessarily even know what those accomplishments are, because I'm running so hard trying to keep everything afloat, trying to keep the government paid, trying to keep all the bills paid, employees, independent contractors, hosting account for the podcast, you name it, website hosting, all the miscellaneous stuff. You guys know, Intuit, having to pay Intuit. You guys know about them, having to pay all the little miscellaneous rascals that are out there seeping up our E&O insurance. We got a bond too. You guys aren't the only ones with the surety bond requirement. I got a surety bond on the insurance agency that needs to be in place. And you guys think your guys' insurance is expensive. Woo! My insurance is, because the majority of what we're doing is there's a certain exposure associated with what an insurance agency does as a whole. A bond agency, insurance agency, it's all in the same category. So, all of that to say that I'm no stranger to your guys' same expenses that you guys had, the post office. I mean, your P.O. box, your monthly rent, all of these things, your accounting, right? Everybody's getting caught up in all of this. All of us. We're all getting caught up in all these things that we got to do to keep the musical chairs a-rolling, because nobody wants that song to stop. Whatever I got to do to keep shoveling songs into the tape deck, I'm dating myself here. The tape deck. Woo! I was gonna say into the what the hell was that thing called? Jeez, man, this is in my mom's era, where they used to have that big ass thing. What was it called? The jukebox. I was gonna say the jukebox, but that wasn't really my time. The tape player. What I'm saying is that I'm trying to keep that song a-rolling, and a song right behind it, and a song right behind that, so that musical chairs does not have to stop in any fashion. I'm laying track as fast as I can, all day, every day, and I'm trying to organize the track a lot better nowadays, now that Allison's helping me get my arms around a lot of this stuff, because that was the constant cadence for the last 3 years, really, since I went full-time. Almost 4 years. Shit's almost 4 years I went full-time. I started this on the side. This was my side hustle right here. I used to do it when I came home after working 40 hours, after working 8-10-hour days. I'd come home and do my move. At lunch, I would call dealers, and I'd be returning calls, and I'd be sending emails, and I'd be doing all this other stuff, or talking to inspectors, or doing whatever, trying to kick this whole business off. I had a $120,000 a year insurance gig, man. I was an executive working I had a decent position, man. I wasn't a It wasn't no thing. It was just I felt underutilized even on some level because I knew there was something else left at the end of the day, and I don't know. It just worked out this way. And I saw an opportunity. Really, is that at the end of the day, I was sending out. I used to teach the pre-licensing class, that dealer training class that you guys got to go to for, depending on what state you're in, 6 hours. Some of them, it's a longer commitment. Some of you guys don't have an education requirement in your state for some reason. But I used to teach that class at one time. I started doing that on the side, probably in 2009, maybe 2010. Not even because of the recession. Like, I wasn't hurting or anything. Like, I was completely untouched in all that, to be honest with you, in terms of my pay or my salary or my bonuses or anything like that. Like, there was nothing. People that worked under me, some of those guys got laid off, or some of them, we all had salary freezes for a couple of years, but that just meant that I didn't get my normal, 3-4% increase or whatever the bullshit they give you at the corporate level. But, all of that to that, and then that's where it started, was that I saw the opportunity during those pre-licensing classes. Of course, there's that bond requirement, and I would send it over to some of the agents that I did insurance business with during the day. I'd say, here, man, here's a guy who needs a bond. You sell bonds. This is a guy who needs it. He might not need it today. He might not need it tomorrow. He just took my class. He's going to be calling you for, information, or he wants you to call him. And these guys would say, hey, man, have your guy reach out to me. Let's do it. I'm ready to rock. And these guys wouldn't reach out to him, man. It'd take them 2 days, 3 days. One time this guy said, I called him up. I said, hey, man, my guy just called me right now that he took my class this weekend. It's already Wednesday. You haven't called him? I said, I left a message for you a couple days ago about this. You didn't get that? He goes, I don't know. So, Mike, I've got voicemails from 2 weeks ago I haven't listened to, so no offense, basically, but I don't have my shit together. And at that point it dawned, and this was a big agent, man. Really big agency. This guy's got a lot of dealers right now that he currently works with because he speaks the language. At the time, there was nobody doing this. Right? So if you were Persian, you speak Farsi, well, now you're speaking their language. So that was how his claim to fame was. His service was horrible. His rates were, like, he was completely overpricing everything. But they saw him as, hey, you're one of us, so you're not going to burn me. Sure enough, he was, but not the point. What I'm saying is that in all of this, from day one, whether it was starting it on the side as a side hustle, and then eventually this getting big enough to where I had to pay full-time attention to it, or know that it's just can't continue in its current trajectory. We had tripled for 3 years straight, and I knew it was at that point too big for the one full-time, kind of two full-time actually, people that we had working it. I knew I had to jump in, and so I quit my full-time job and dedicated it all to you guys, to the industry, to used car dealers, and to really being of tremendous value and service to them in different ways. Most of the time it was through bonds, but the way I got started on this whole tangent is just, there is this element of all of these actions, all of this activity that happens during the course of a day, a week, a month, to where we do get sidetracked into really thinking about some of the things that we've accomplished. And at this point, this was my actual homework for the week, was you're gonna start to dial this in and really, sit your wife down. That was this was the homework from, and I gotta tell you, my business coach is, he said, I don't know, who is this? She might not know what she's talking about. I'm telling you, she's a sicko. She built a company that was, a while ago, it had made it to the Forbes top 50. No, it wasn't a Forbes top 50. What was she in? Yeah. She was in the Forbes top 50 companies in the country. In terms of size, growth, I mean, impressive stuff, man. This is, she's really got her shit together. So it's her homework. Part of the homework for this week was nail down some of your milestones that you've hit over the last year, because we've been nailing milestone after milestone after milestone, but there's no capture, right? Then the accreditation almost, or the credit is being lost, because as soon as I write one ebook, I'm off to the next one. I don't even let myself think about it too long, or I give myself a couple of minutes to soak it in, that accomplishment. It's like, man, I just finished this. It's my first thing I've ever done. I just created an ebook, man. I've always wanted to have an ebook. Well, I finally created one. And the used car dealer bond buyer's guide. So this is the buyer's guide for if you want a bond. Here are the things that you're going to need to be looking for. I created it, and if you guys didn't want it, by all means, you guys hit me up. Mike@yourcardealerbond.com is my email. Mike@yourcardealerbond.com, or you guys can slide into those DMs on social, either Facebook or Instagram. I'm Your Car Dealer Bond there too. You can watch one of the videos and comment there. Your Car Dealer Bond on YouTube. So YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you guys are, you guys lay me down a comment, hit me up, let me know where you're at, and let me know what your email address is. I'll email this thing to you free. It's not going to cost you a penny. Just again, trying to distill down a lot of the information that I have to help you guys understand it a little better. This is this is that. This is how this moves. This is what I should be looking for in this scenario. So for what it's worth, that was, that's kind of where I wanted to go this week. That, one, to really nail down this milestones thing, because at the end of the year, as we're getting close to at this point, where we just broke into the fourth quarter. So here it is, man. And you guys know how the end of the year goes. It's going to go fast and furious. With right after Halloween, man, it's going to be Thanksgiving is going to jump on you fast. And then all of a sudden, there's shaking and baking going on in the industry, either with purchasing cars or purchasing your inventory, or whether getting rid of your inventory. End of the year is a great time at the auction. It's a great time for people that want to buy a really nice present for somebody in their life: mom, dad, daughter, son, wife, you name it. I mean, it's happening at that time of year too, not just when they get their taxes back. So there's a really tip for the guys that are kind of new in the business. The auction, the reason I mentioned acquiring inventory, the auction's a beautiful place, man. Come Christmas time, there'll only be a couple days around that Christmas time. They might, that they'll shut down. The rest of the time, man, they'll be slanging them cars right at the auction. It might not be rich with the same number of vehicles, but you're going to get a lot less competition on those days, because for obvious reasons, people are out there spending time with their family or doing whatever. So if there's somehow, some way, you can figure out a way to still be a normal husband and family member and present during the holidays and all that, and still make it out to that auction, you'll have less competition to pull down that inventory on those. Same thing with Thanksgiving. A lot of people decide that, man, this is my time off. This is my time. I'm gonna do me some me time. And by all means, when they're doing me time over there, you should be doing party time at the auction and eating their lunch out. So by all means, that's one to grow on. But really, the one to grow on is see if you guys can't really nail down these milestones for yourself too. As much as they're helpful to me, and I've only done, I don't know, I might have done maybe 15 of them or so. But I'm sitting there thinking, and I'll share some of them with you. I'm not gonna. In a future episode, I'll share some of them with you. But they're things like, I knew that I had a certain potential to get to a certain level, but I also knew that I needed some coaching. Whether you're an athlete, whatever you are, you're a business person, a lot of us just need mentors. Somebody that's done it before, cut their teeth in a bunch of different ways. How can I benefit from your experiences, good, bad, or ugly? Right? That's always been my question, is how can I fast track the amount of experience and information? It might have taken this guy 5 years to learn this. How can I fast track and learn that in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then have somebody there to guide me along for, okay, here, let me do it for the first time. I'm going to show you how it comes out and then tell me what I did wrong. That's invaluable, man. And that's I acquired this person, and a high level person they are, and for a reasonable enough price to where it's a win. It's a total win, because I'm getting some major value out of this. And our business is growing. Seen some of the milestones even over the last year. I know I would have accomplished on my own, but the amount that I was able to accomplish, not me, the team, and really, pushing things to get it really, this identifying the milestones process has been very helpful to me. And I have a feeling that if you guys are out there hustling, your milestones are getting lost in the shuffle, and you might not get that chance to really look at what some of these things are that you've accomplished. And as you do, it's not just for the sake of sitting there and, putting it on the table and seeing how cute it is. There's a bigger, yes, it's going to energize you, and yes, it's going to electrify you to see some of these things that you've accomplished. And I don't want to take away from that part of the process. That's one of the biggest benefits of doing this, is you see what you've actually done and you say, oh my God, I didn't realize I did this, and this, and we pulled this off, and we pulled this off, and we pulled this off, and this and this and this, and we're in the process with these other 4 things where we're halfway done and we're really close to the end, it's agreed. It is absolutely electrifying. But in addition to that, it really does set a lot of your frame of mind, because it's going to give you a certain mindset to, man, look what I accomplished here. I did this. What else could I spin off of this accomplishment? Ooh, I kind of forgot about this one. Let me circle back to figure out how can I leverage this now that it actually is done. I did finish that big project. Now I got to sit there and leverage it to the gills. It's if it was, one of my big accomplishments was we did our first event, right? Well, now what? Yeah, we did that, but okay, maybe the next part of that process is, okay, now we've got to actually go back and create campaigns around all the different contacts that we met that day. And we need to put them into a process to where we are sending them monthly touch points to, try to add value into their life in some way and still stay relevant in front of them, while at the same time being able to soft pitch them on perhaps something that we might have for them. I'm trying to figure out where they're at in the process, right? I mean, these are, I gotta say it, man, this is, if you're not going up, you're going down. And some of you guys may have this feeling, and I had this feeling actually about a year ago, maybe even more, maybe a year and a half ago. I had this feeling like we had climbed up this pole about a year and a half ago. Now that I'm thinking about it, I had this feeling like I climbed up the flagpole, and that I hit the spot at the flagpole where it was covered in grease. And it's probably covered in grease for the next 2 feet of pole. But above that, there's no more grease. But as soon as I hit the grease, all I felt was me sliding down. And I've slowly slid since then, right? Or things have slowly, a lot of it wasn't me sliding or the business sliding or us losing a step. It's bond premiums used to be $1,500 just a few years ago for a $50,000 bond. Now we can get them for $500, maybe a little less sometimes, maybe a little more sometimes, but right around that $500 point versus $15. So now you take your $1 million book of business, and if you just renewed every single one of them, they're a third of the price. What does that do to your book? What does that do to your business? Right? Imagine that happened to you. That's what happens, and it doesn't happen over 1 year. It went from 1,500 to 1,200, then it went to 1,000, then it went to 750, then it went to 600, and it bottomed out to kind of where it's at now. So it is a gradual process over the course of 5-6 years, but that's something that if the amount of money that you get paid is contingent on a commission, and that commission is based on the amount of premium that's being paid for a bond, as those premiums erode and as dealers go out of business, so does I'm tied to you guys. We're tied at the hip, baby. Right? I'm telling you, I might get up my skirt this time, man. I'm telling you guys it all. I'm telling you guys my vulnerabilities. I'm getting beat up by my business coach. Here's when I don't get beat up by my business coach. Here's what we were talking about. Here's what my move was this week that I'm supposed to be doing. Here was my homework. Here are the things that I am accomplishing or recently accomplished by doing a certain activity that was very helpful to us and to seeing my business in a certain way. I mean, all that stuff I'm trying to kind of share with you guys so you guys could see, just basically get some more value out of this thing. Because at the end of the day, if I'm paying for a business coach, there's no reason why you guys shouldn't get when it rains, we all get wet. That's a saying that I always come back to, is when it rains, we all get wet. And if it's going to start pouring on my side, and I'm hoping that some of it will trickle down to you guys, and some of the things that if you guys are out there trying a lot of the things that I'm talking about doing and growing your business and building the foundation for your business in these certain ways, if you guys are out there benefiting from that same wisdom from the same one source, some of it's coming from something that I'm reading, some of it may be coming from this course that I'm on, some of it may be from some of the mentorship from Allison. I mean, some of it may be some of the mentorship from 10 years ago in my prior business, in the insurance world and some of that stuff. But all that to say that and to the extent that I can really help you guys, by all means, reach out to me, connect with me on Insta, Facebook, YouTube. You guys got the drill down. Even the 866 number, 357-4405. Whatever way is easiest for you guys, man. We're trying to make it as easy as possible. I know half of you guys are caught up into the things that you guys are doing, and for you to pivot for 10 seconds, man, it might be tough. But if there's something I can help you with, by all means, what's in it for you? That's all you care about. So let's talk about you. Let's talk about you. But yeah, by all means, milestones, itemize them. If you guys haven't done it anytime recently, boy, you'd be surprised how much you've accomplished and don't give yourself credit for. And you'd be surprised how seeing that on paper is going to kind of give you a different thought process as to what you could do next, either with what you've created, or I did that, so I know I can do this, or I did this symmetrically, maybe this should be my next move. I mean, there's going to be a lot of these sort of questions that you're going to need to come to conclude, that may spring out to you that you may end up having to, dance with, but it's going to all be positive. I could tell you personally, it's made a ton of difference. So, for what it's worth, and if it is helpful, I'm hoping that you guys will take some time to really identify those things, and then by all means, take yourself out to dinner, whether it's you and your wife or whatever it is. One thing that I have done is I have started to take my wife out to dinner and say, here, let's go out to dinner. She's my business partner, basically. So, we're in the business all day long together. We're getting things done together all day long together. If you guys get documents and you and I have talked, chances are the person that's going to email you the documents to sign, date, and email back to us is going to be my wife, Patricia. So we're in this thing together. A lot of the decisions that we have to make have to be made together. And, I'll go. We went last night, man. We went to take me to Red Lobster. And we ended up at Red Lobster, and we ended up, I brought the laptop, I brought my keyboard and mouse, and I just started teaching her a little bit about, we started going through some of the milestones, as a matter of fact. We started putting them down on paper, and at the same time as I'm teaching her that, I'm showing her different moves in PowerPoint, because she's starting to learn PowerPoint. And, it's a valuable time of training, bonding, all the way around. It was good stuff. So, anyway, like I said, I encourage you guys to, if nothing else, really itemize out those milestones that you guys are chipping away at. You guys keep up the good work, keep on slanging them cars. I'm going to continue to try to give you guys the best of what I got. We've got some exciting things, man. I'm telling you, I've been working on this thing for 6 months. I basically, it's now in the editing stages where it's not really in my hands anymore. Like, I think my part's done, in other words. It's going to go through this last bit of edit, and then it's going to go through development, basically a round of with the artists, with the visual guys, and they're going to distill down what I've got, and they're going to put into a nice format that you guys can all appreciate and fizz through simply. And then we've got a round of some different treatments that'll probably be necessary to that before they're ready. And then we've got a slightly different development to complement what I've been working on. But I mean, boy, in a short period of time, even 6 months, considering everything else that's getting done, it seems like now I'm at the tail end of this one huge project. And boy, it's amazing, because if I was just waiting for this one huge project to be done, I'd be deflated. But now looking at all these other things that I've accomplished simultaneously, it's like, man, that's what I do with my ADD. You guys are, man, once I get ADD'd out, I just move to another project that I have to hurry up and get. It's not the most efficient thing in the world, but sometimes my brain doesn't work too long in one direction. And to that end, I gotta bounce. So you guys keep slanging them cars. You guys keep doing what you guys are doing out there. I can't thank you guys enough for continuing to help spread the word about the Your Car Dealer podcast. Again, please, in no way, shape, or form, get this twisted. Do not keep my name out of your mouth. Please keep my name fresh in your mouth. Mike Ramos, Your Car Dealer Bond, if that's what you need. Your Car Dealer Bond kind of speaks for itself. And the Your Car Dealer podcast, keep telling a friend. Hopefully one day it's going to pay for the hosting of itself, is my deepest and darkest hope. We're at about 8,000 downloads, guys. I cannot continue to thank you enough. And let me know if you guys want to see more different content, different types of things. I'm continuing to just move you guys along with what I'm, if something bounces out to me. I mean, we're doing different types of content, whether it's, what the effect is of the environment and different things that are going on in your city that's affecting you, like the homeless. I've got a recent podcast about how the homeless increase in population is really affecting used car dealers, or whether it's something like your inventory vehicles and how, letting your wife use them for personal use and how to schedule your family members, or whether it's reconditioning your vehicles, or whether it's the dealer auction, or you're just barely licensed, and now what? At Car Canyon, one of my gals, one of our dealers, nice lady, is enjoying the content, it sounds like, but if there's something that you guys really want me to focus in on, hone in on for you guys, and to create some content around, I'd be happy to do it. You guys may notice that the voice isn't what it is normally. I've been under the weather for the last week or so, but you guys keep slanging them cars. You guys keep connecting with us. You guys keep, by all means, telling your friends about the Your Car Dealer podcast, and keep letting me know how I can help you. Because at the end of the day, they keep telling me, in this Allison and all this other these courses that I've got to really hone in on the business part of this, and to get me in touch with how certain things work technically. They keep telling me, Mike, on the marketing, the advertising side, nobody cares. Nobody cares about you. None of this is about you. Nobody cares about you. Nobody cares about your background. Nobody cares nothing. All they care about is what's in it for them. That's it. What's in it for them? They keep on drilling that into my head. What's in it for them, Mike? That's all they care about. Only that, Mike. What's in it for them? So take that for what it's worth. That's for you too. Your customers, guess what? They don't got love for you versus another. I know you're going to have friends and family. I'm not talking about that. Your normal, average, walk-in customer, or guy that finds your website or whatever it is, however he finds you. That guy has no love for your dealership versus the guy next door. He just wants the best possible price on the vehicle that he wants, or to feel like he does, or she. It doesn't even have to be that. It just, as long as it feels like that, right? Perception is reality. I mean, so you got to really think what's in it for them, because at the end of the day, that's really what they're going to focus on. Nobody cares about my kids, but you care deeply about your kids, right? What's in it for you? Everybody's kind of got the same. It sounds selfish, but I don't know. Why would you care about my kid? I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Why would some potential customer of yours care about your kid? And if they don't, well, then they sure as hell don't care about whether they buy their next car from you or not, right? By the way, if you guys do support kids, I got 2 of them. You guys continue to keep my name in your mouth, and that's how they get supported. So by all means, you guys take care out there. You guys have a great rest of the week. You guys keep slanging them cars, man. Please keep slanging them cars and prospering. And by all means, we'll definitely catch you on the next one. Out.